Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day, actually, this month, I'll reiterate it, this month we're watching documentaries about the making of movies. Uh, this week is actually Burden of Dreams from 1982. Herzog, I don't know why I can't remember the man's first name right now, and I can't find it in my notes, so
Werner.
sorry. Werner Herzog, thank you. This is why you have a co-host.
Yeah.
I'll say it, spoiler warning, it's a documentary, so there's really no spoilers, but we'll get into it. We'll give a brief description before we actually start talking about the film. So, Burden of Dreams is a documentary that takes us behind the scenes of one of the most daring and difficult film projects ever attempted, Werner Herzog's Fitzcarraldo, a story of a man who wants to bring opera to the heart of the Amazon jungle. The film reveals the incredible challenges, dangers, and obsessions that Herzog and his crew faced as they tried to realize his vision of hauling a 320-ton steam ship over a mountain. Don't recommend it. Without any special effects or models. Burden of Dreams is not only a fascinating portrait of a filmmaker's passion and madness, but also a stunning exploration of the beauty and the horror of the natural world.
Yeah, that is actually a really good description because it's like
That's perfect, actually. Yeah,
it goes through exactly what it especially ends with that like big old boat that he's like lugging up the hill and everything, and
but there were multiple
what?
attempts though. Like, how
Yeah,
many attempts until you would have been like, okay, I'm calling it? Because he said like 7 or something like that.
I don't know. Patty and I were talking about it. It's like I probably
Yeah.
would have been the one that said like, all right, the engineer says don't do it, so let's not do
Yeah.
it.
He was like, nah, we got this. Because the engineer was like, hey, you need a 20% slope or something like that. He was like, nah, we
Yeah.
need 40.
Yeah,
20's not
that's
going to
cool.
do anything. Yeah,
Well, from that, okay.
yeah.
What I love about this movie or this documentary is that it really focused on the indigenous people
Yes.
within the Amazon.
Yes.
And then Herzog is like really compassionate and wants to show these indigenous people because
He even spoke Spanish too.
he even spoke Spanish. And Patty was like, I'm pretty sure that they don't speak Spanish traditionally, that they just must have learned it because like everyone else around them had like knows Spanish. But the indigenous people must have their own language.
Yeah, it seemed like they were not
Yeah.
westernized, but it seemed like they were starting to be infiltrated by the neighboring cities because they had like Mickey Mouse shirts and different non-traditional things that
like
they were wearing.
The Western world and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I like that it was like a big show of the indigenous people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then to get to that part where he's like lugging the boat up there, he's like, the engineer's like, well, you have a possibility of killing some of these people.
Yes.
Like actually killing some of these people. And then Herzog's like, I don't care. This is my film. I want to do it. It's like, what was the first hour of you saying that?
Yeah. He was like, I love these people. I don't want to harm them. He's paying them all this money that they would have never received before.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, they're good. This ship's not going to hurt anybody. Like,
and then
okay.
Engineer's like, 30 people probably could die more.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fine.
Like, I'll slow down.
Man, I was like,
but
what
then he
the
needed
hell was
3
that?
ships, though. That was the thing that got me the most was like he needed 3 ships for like different portions of the film, and I'm like, dude, this is a lot. Like, what was your budget?
Right, and this one, I saw this as like stark contrasts, almost similar to The Hearts of Darkness.
That's actually my question. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick. That was my question. Was like, who do you think had a more difficult time making their film?
I think Herzog, because of my point is that he actually had to worry about investors in his movie, and investors telling him like, I'm not going to pay for that, or I'm not going to do back that. Where Coppola had, I think he was fighting himself most of all inside of that movie, inside of that that production, but he was paying for it. And granted, he got some help from like United Artists and stuff, I think. But I think Herzog also had to deal with like that these like indigenous people kind of live their lives also. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were like almost trying to kill each other and stuff. And
Well, the
it's
one guy
like,
got shot with an arrow. Guy got shot in the arrow shot in the neck with an arrow, and then the lady got shot in the hip. So they were having all out brawls
right?
while they were making this film.
I kind of saw I saw Herzog because I liked his understanding of like of the reason why he had like two camps, because like they were asking him like, oh, why do you separate the indigenous people
Mm-hmm.
in one camp and then you guys in another camp, where he was almost afraid of imposing too much
Yeah,
onto
like
the
forcing
indigenous people. Yeah.
Western ways on them. Yeah.
And it's like I understood that because he was almost like a wildlife observer too, where
Mm-hmm.
he can't really intervene in their natural lives.
Yeah.
Where he was saying those attacks on each other were tribes attacking
Mm-hmm.
each other, and it's like he can't really intervene on that because that's how they kind of live their lives and stuff.
Yeah.
Like like if they kind of approached and wanting to like attack the production people, I don't know. It was like a weird understanding that like he couldn't really step in. It's almost like when you go and like when people go to like Africa and stuff and watch lions and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
gazelles. You can't go and stop the gazelle or the lion from killing the gazelle. It's like that's
Yeah.
how natural selection works. That's how their life
Yeah.
works too.
It's like
And
a
it's like
circle of
just
life.
because we're
Like,
civilized or like not civilized, just because we don't like the blood and guts of everything
yeah,
and all that stuff, we can't let them not do it.
it really felt
I don't
like
know.
he was a fly on the wall, and like he was okay with that. Like he didn't want, like you said, to impose on these people's everyday life. He's like, hey, I'm just here for this finite amount of time. I need to get these shots, and then I'm out of your hair. And he didn't want to change their view of the world in any way.
Right? Right? I don't know. For you, what do you think who do you think had the worst time?
I think he had a difficult because he like I don't know if I could have continued. Like with Coppola, his things, like you said, was a couple little actor switches and money. Herzog filmed like 50% of the movie, they said, and then had to scrap it and then start over. I would have been like, okay, I'm done. Like, let's make something else. Like, I can't keep doing this. So I definitely think Herzog had a more
Right?
difficult time.
And then towards the end, when they were like doing the finale of the movie, pulling
The ship.
that steam engine or
Mm-hmm.
steamship, what the
That
narrator said
bolt.
it was like 4 years after he started production of this thing, and it's
Yes.
like you really waited 4 years to like, all right, like let's do this, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
he's a better
it's his
man than me.
vision. Patty said that. Yeah, Patty said that he almost said the same stuff as Coppola,
Coppola.
where it's like
Yeah.
it's my vision, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait as long as possible to do my vision, and I'm gonna like tackle whatever I want to get my vision.
But it's
So
true. That's true passion. I don't know if that's if people still have that same type of passion now. It seems like everything is okay. I'm into this for this amount of time, and then I'm on to the next. Where a lot of people from the past, even like early 2000s, like you hear about mostly athletes is where you hear about it, but they committed to okay, I want to be the best at what I do, and just did it for years, and then now they're superstars. And a lot of the older filmmakers were the same way. Like you hear about, oh, the passion, my vision, I see it this way, it has to be this way, or
mhm.
I'm not doing it. And it doesn't seem like you hear too many people speak that way now.
Yeah, it I like the way he ended the film, where he's making comments that like we all have the same dreams. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me as a filmmaker or an artist, I can articulate our dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like I like the way he kind of stated that, where it's like it's almost poetic, and it almost kind of elevates Herzog. I think Herzog has a very good way of like elevating himself. Like he has a very like they all have egos that are like above everyone
Mm-hmm.
else, but I think Herzog can do it where it's like you don't even understand that he's like putting himself all the way up
Yeah.
here. You're almost like mystified by his voice and everything.
Oh, dude, he sounded like Christoph Waltz from Django.
Who's that? Oh, yes.
Yeah, the whole time, like, because I think I turned it on and then like stepped away, like stepped into the kitchen for a second, and I heard the voice, and I'm like, is he narrating this? I'm like, oh no, that's the man's voice. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's almost like he would like he can convince you to do things and you're like, what? Like you're like you wake up the next day and you're like, what? Nothing nefarious,
but jump off
like...
a cliff with a parachute, and I did it.
Yeah, you could almost get lost in his words and his way of speaking and stuff.
The cadence and everything. You're like, dang, man, okay, I'll do it. I'll try it. Because you said it, I'll do it.
Yeah. One question for you. Either of us have not seen this movie, right? The movie that he's actually trying to make.
I'd actually never heard of it.
Does this... So with Hearts of Darkness, it was a documentary about making Apocalypse Now. We both saw Apocalypse Now before we saw that. I have
seen clips of Apocalypse. I haven't seen the
clips.
Whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I know of it. I just haven't seen the whole movie.
Now, a thing that I thought about when I was watching this, like, does this documentary make you want to watch the movie?
It made me want to get a better understanding of the movie. So yeah, I guess I would watch it, knowing like now I know the backstory of 50% of the film was already created with Mick Jagger, and then they scrapped it, and then now it's a totally different film. So it kind of got me interested in watching it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder like if someone accidentally just watched this documentary before they even like, because throughout the whole movie, the whole documentary, I had no clue what movie he was talking about.
Yeah,
and he kept saying this Fitzcarraldo and everything, and I was like, okay, I get that, but is that what the movie's called?
I think I had to check IMDb, and that's like the description of Burden of Dreams, and it said the name of the movie, and I was like, oh, okay. But I had never heard of the movie before.
Me either. And on Letterboxd, you can see both of them. Like if you go on Letterboxd and you like search Burden of Dreams, and you search... Basically, I went into what's nice about Letterboxd is that you can kind of go into Herzog and what he directed, what he kind of acted in and stuff. And so I was able to find that there's Fitzcarraldo and stuff as one of his movies. And I don't know, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, like you said, to have this kind of like look into the production. And then you're like, all right, did all of this hard work to do everything practically come out the way you wanted and stuff? Like, does it really make a difference?
I guess so.
And I'm assuming so, because...
Yeah. Because Burden of Dreams is in the Criterion Collection.
Right.
Like, so I'm
guessing... I don't know, maybe it's because of the subject matter.
That's also
I think
true.
It's the subject matter, like the way the way the documentary kind of approached this, like, it's almost like an environmental documentary. It's like, like this is something you can totally watch in like a environmental science course. It's about a filmmaker, but you see the impact of what we're doing on the rainforest and the Amazon. And they also had like a thing that they believe that the Amazon basin by 2010 was going to be completely cleared out. Yeah. And I didn't look that up if that's actually came about, because it's now 2023 and stuff. But I don't know. I think we do have a little bit more conservation and understanding of the Amazon. But there's a lot of people out there that don't give a shit about it. So
also very true. I think we're teetering. I think it's gotten better, but we're still teetering.
I think so too. But one thing was, Patty was like so shocked. She was like, "Is that how they make rubber? Is that like how rubber's made?"
Oh, with the tree? Yeah, that blew my mind. Just slicing the tree up, and then it just oozes out like glue.
Yeah.
That's
I was like, man,
who figured that out? Anytime like I see a documentary or a film where it's like, oh, this is how this is made. I'm like, who's the first person that came up with this shit? Who was like, let me cut this tree. Ooh, what's this white stuff? Ooh, it's bouncy. Like, what? Or even like, nice. When they made when the indigenous people made their alcohol.
Their alcohol?
Yeah, chewing it
Yeah.
and spit. I'm like, who thought of that? Who was like, yo, let's get the yucca, let's chew it up, let's stir it up, chew it up, spit it back, and then drink it. Questions, just
It
questions.
works. You got them
It
drunk
works.
and everything.
Yeah.
I heard it's actually really good. It's actually a lot of people like can't get past the fact that they have to chew it up and spit it back out.
Well, dude in
But
the movie couldn't get past
that
it.
just like adds the bacteria, like the yeast and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard it's pretty good.
I would try it. Just don't
But
tell me.
what was like? Yeah, it's. I know, right? Just let me just drink it and stuff, and then if I drink enough of it, I'll forget about it, right?
Exactly. Tell me about it when I'm drunk. Like, oh, hey, you know that was in my mouth. Like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah. I'll deal with that later.
Exactly.
I don't know, but the thing I also thought about, like the whole time he was trying to like do all these things, like you said, he had like 3 different boats.
Mm-hmm.
All the boats were stuck somewhere and all this stuff. He's filming on location. He has to deal with like the indigenous people fighting each other. He has to deal with like the actual land rights of things, and nowadays we see a lot of movies being made with a bunch of CGI, where I'm assuming someone nowadays is like, okay, I want to make a film like that, but let me do it in a studio in the back of Hollywood and stuff. Like do you see this happening? I guess that's a question I asked last time too, where it's like this more often is fading away, that like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna go film like on location, like and then like live in the middle of the jungle and all this stuff. Like I feel like that's a dying art.
I think that goes back to the passion. I think artists back then had to figure it out. They were like, we only have so much technology, so to get the best image and the best feel for film, TV, whatever, we have to be there. We have to be there, immerse ourselves in that land. And now we're so privileged to not have to do that. Like we can just be like, oh, go to YouTube, get some footage. We can toss it on this large screen, this large blue screen, and we're good to go. We'll put some sand on the ground and make it look like we're actually there, and you don't have to actually go anywhere. It can be on a back lot. But the movie or the film and TV feels different when that happens. Like you can see the difference in lighting and the difference in how the film or television show looks compared to like, oh, you were on location, you see a random bug may fly through the scene or a leaf falls down. Like you can't get that when you're in a studio.
Yeah. You have like the variability of the environment around you that's like still living its life too, where it's
you're just interrupted for that hour I get that or whatever.
That's why it's like I can go back and watch the original Star Wars trilogy and be like, this looks like it's like it came out like yesterday and stuff, and then like you go back and watch like the second trilogy or the trilogy that just came out, and you're like, I can't watch this. Like this, I know that this came out during technology that like is like way in the past now, where the original Star Wars trilogy, it's like they have like little models and they're doing all this stuff. They're blowing up those models. Like someone sat there and made that for like hours on end, and then like George Lucas is like, boom, I'm gonna blow that thing up tomorrow. Yep. I don't know. It does feel different where it's like you can understand that like this was made a long time ago, but it still feels fresh.
Yeah, because I think we've talked about it before. Like you can turn on a movie or even seeing a trailer. Like you can see a trailer for a film. Like if you just see the name, you don't see the year it came out, and you can be like, oh, is this 2023? It's like, no, this came out in the 70s. It's like, oh shit, like this looks great still.
Yeah, right.
I think it's all environment. Like we're too reliant on the blue screens, green screens. We just have to have people go outside and film movies again.
Touch grass, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to do it once a month. Yeah.
Goodness. You're at one with the world once a month.
Yes. Yes. I can be with the world inside my own home. It's fine.
You just peek out the window like, ooh, it's green out there.
I grow plants in my house and everything. I can touch that. No. But who do you find yourself like recommending this to?
That is a great question. Anyone interested in, like, I would say, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I would say like National Geographic, Discovery Channel style docs, because it doesn't feel like you're watching the making of a film. You're more so watching someone film native people, and then there happens to be a movie that's being filmed there.
Right, like just it's sad because like you're almost watching like an ecological disaster kind of happening in slow motion, basically, like in very slow motion. But yeah, it almost like you almost lose the fact that there's a movie being made. Yeah, I think anybody that enjoys Herzog, I think a lot of people can probably like. I think there's a lot of people that would be like, oh, like I don't know what that guy looked like or what his name was, but I've seen some stuff from this guy. I've seen him act in things, and they love him, and I think I think anybody that enjoys Herzog and wants to see like his artistic style. But I think this one is very approachable for anybody that is not interested in movies, where it's like, I don't give a shit about this like filmmaking thing, but I want to learn about the Amazon tribal people and everything, and like the people that like live their everyday lives, and it almost be like I like those people are like I don't want you looking at me, like I just want to go back to my to my spot and everything. I just want.
Can I go back to making arrows? Like, just get out of here.
Yeah. They almost look tired of like having the white people just stare at them. It's like, honestly, okay, can I go back?
Are we done? Like, it's been 3 hours. Like, I just want to eat, make arrows.
Yeah, right.
Hang out with my family. Like, come on.
Well, did you rate this movie? I last time I didn't rate The Hearts of Darkness. I didn't rate this one either.
It's difficult. Like, I think we might have talked about this off camera, but if I'm able to watch the documentary and be intrigued by the subject matter after the hour and a half, 2 hours, I like it. I'll just, I won't even give it a rating. I'll just say, like, okay, I enjoyed it.
It did what it was trying to do. It got me interested in the filmmaking process, or it showed me the filmmaking process, but then it also wanted me to look up more information about the Amazon and more information about the indigenous people within the Amazon and stuff and stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, it did what it wanted to do and everything. But I think if you want to like enjoy the film process or the film itself, then go watch the film and stuff. But I think this kind of hits on a different level.
Yeah, I agree with that. This was good enough for me.
Yeah, right. All right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll be back next week with another one. And please let us know if you've seen this documentary, Burden of Dreams, and let us know what you thought about it in the comments. And please like and subscribe to our channel, Saturday Night Popcorn.